Yuka never imagined his female disciples would turn out to be so intense. They dragged him to hot springs, fiercely guarding him from any woman who dared get close. Suddenly, his disciples morphed into a harem, leaving Yuka stunned, and the harem kept growing. Humans, elves, beastmen, even a reaper. Handling all these women daily, Yuka's both overwhelmed and kinda thrilled. He owes this wild turn of events to the jerks who betrayed him. For 5 years, Yuka and his teammates slayed countless monsters, raking in piles of cash. Except Yuka, who got the smallest cut and ended up drowning in debt. As the team's support, he shelled out his own money for potions and magic tools, burning through funds every battle. But his teammates, they dismissed his efforts, claiming a support role barely mattered against monsters. Worst of all, those jerks mocked Yuka, calling him a greedy deadweight. The team leader, Simon, was the most two-faced, acting like he kept Yuka around out of childhood friendship. Yuka despised them. Fed up, he turned to Mommer, a guild staffer, to find a new adventuring party. That's when a girl threw her arms around him, Marina, his disciple and a warrior. Lady Luck finally smiled on Yuka. He lost a pack of scumbags and gained a team of gorgeous teammates. Rain the Mage and Silp the Dark Elf, both Yuka's disciples, joined Marina to form a D-rank adventuring party. They desperately wanted Yuka to join but worried their low rank wouldn't appeal to him. They needn't have stressed. Sure, Yuka's old team was A-rank, but they were also garbage. As a B-rank adventurer certified by the guild, Yuka saw teaming up with D-rankers for low-level quests as the perfect mix of adventure and relaxation. Their first adventure kicked off with Yuka naming Marina as the scout. As an alchemist, he wielded a magic lantern that revealed traps, burning ghasts from his disciples, who rarely rubbed shoulders with high-rank adventurers. With Yuka's support, the team breezed through challenges. In the dungeon's first floor, Yuka cast 3 stamina-boosting spells on Marina in a flash. When a monster stumbled under his debuff magic, Marina slashed through the entire pack in one swing. With Yuka's buffs, this rookie team unleashed devastating power. The girls grew more coordinated, wiping out the second floor's monsters in just a few rounds. Yuka, like a walking supply station, kept casting mana recovery spells for Rain, ensuring the team stayed in top shape. Then came a surprise. Most adventurers munch on portable bread in dungeons, but Yuka's magic pouch held cooking tools. He whipped up a proper lunch, leaving the girls floored. Who knew you could eat freshly cooked meals in a dungeon? After a rest, the team was recharged and sailed through to the 4th floor's boss. Yuka slowed the enemy with a debuff spell, and Marina locked off its head in one clean strike. They planned to mine the 4th floor's ores and leave, but the yield was lower than expected. To prove his worth, Yuka suggested tackling the 5th floor's boss solo. He pulled out a magic device to record the fight for review. Facing a giant steel crab, Yuka layered himself with buffs, shattered its defenses with debuffs, and crushed it with a super gravity spell. Marina, overexcited, nearly hugged him to death. The Clover team's first mission scored a massive payoff. Simon's dungeon run, meanwhile, was a disaster. Thinking anyone could replace useless Yuka, his team fell apart. Monsters they once crushed now tore through them, leaving Jamie the mage gravely wounded. Camilla the healer ran out of mana and couldn't help. Even after retreating to safety, Camilla was too drained to heal Jamie. Only the new archer, Cork, saved Jamie with a healing potion. That night, irony struck. Yuka and his team celebrated upstairs in a tavern, while Simon's crew bickered downstairs. Everyone blamed Cork, who snapped back, accusing Simon of picking fights with overpowered monsters without a shred of strategy. Furious, Cork quit. Just then, the tavern played a viral video of Yuka obliterating the steel crab, his fame skyrocketing. Cue the villain. Bessia, the lecherous, arrogant son of a chamberlain, approached Yuka. He demanded the Clover team's women join his harem and ordered Yuka to leave. When Yuka refused, Bessio tried to kill him but got knocked out with a single spell. Yuka brushed off the chamberlain's idiot son and led the Clover team on their next mission. Their luck soured when a horse-headed high-level monster appeared. Yuka ordered a retreat to cover his team, but they refused to abandon him. Marina got knocked flying, and Yuka's debuffs failed. A dire situation where one misstep could mean death. Yuka and Rain unleashed their strongest attack spells, finally breaking the monster's defenses. Boosted by Yuka's magic, Marina cleaved off its horse head. Bad news. The monster's blood ruined their clothes. Yuka stepped away to let the girls bathe. Later, Guildmaster Benwood summoned them. The Clover team's performance earned Marina, Rain, and Silk promotions to C-rank, while Yuka hit A-rank. But a grim issue arose. High-level monsters shouldn't appear so freely. Bound by dungeon magic, their sudden freedom hinted at a looming catastrophe. Humanity could face extinction if the bindings failed. The news weighed heavily on everyone. Back at the inn, Yuka ran into Simon, who demanded he rejoin his team. Simon, ever entitled, acted like he was doing Yuka a favor despite needing him desperately. Yuka refused. Simon's crew was trash, not worth his time. Bezia, lurking nearby, overheard everything. Since failing to recruit Yuka, Simon's team spiraled. Repeated mission failures put them at risk of demotion. The team drowned their woes in booze, bickering daily, morale in the gutter. Only Jamie stayed clear-headed, fed up with her teammates. Meanwhile, Yuka's life felt like a cheat code. The Clover team racked up successful missions, amassing enough wealth to buy a villa as their base. His disciples forced him to move in with them. Normally, co-ed living puts girls at risk, but with Yuka, he was the one considering iron underwear to protect his virtue. Amid the good vibes, trouble brewed. Simon rallied several high-ranked teams to explore Yuka's dream dungeon, a super-tier labyrinth. Using Yuka's ambition as bait, Yuka rejected him, furious that his past contributions were never valued. 2 weeks later, Benwood summoned Yuka again. Monsters were spilling into human territory, signaling something wrong deep in the dungeons. Simon's coalition exploration flopped, with teams pulling out. Benwood needed Yuka's adaptability for a king-ordered mission to probe the super-tier dungeon, sweetening the deal with a rare escape scroll to instantly exit the labyrinth. Mama introduced Nene, a ninja, as a temporary teammate to bolster the Clover team's scouting. Their exploration went smoothly, with weaker monsters easily dispatched through teamwork. They found a treasure chest, which Nene, a former thief, expertly unlocked, revealing gems, a ring, and a black cube. The ring boosted mages, so Yuka slicked it onto Rain's finger, making her blush as if he proposed. Then they ran into Simon's team, sparking a heated argument. Simon demanded Yuka's loot and failed, while his teammates hurled personal attacks, including racist remarks at Silk. Enraged, Yuka's fighting spirit flared, silencing them temporarily. The clash, broadcast live via magic device, spread fast. Afterward, Benwood chewed out Simon, who faced complaints and a royal order for severe punishment to avoid war with the elves. Simon's team risked losing their adventurer status and exile. Alone in the rain, Simon couldn't fathom his downfall. Bezio appeared, proposing they team up to take down Yuka. Unaware of the looming threat, Yuka and Marina unlocked the Black Cube's secret. It transformed into a sentient samurai sword that chose Marina as its master. Testing the weapon, the Clover team ventured into the dungeon again. They saw skies, sun, and grasslands, an open world unlike any dungeon. Wary of hidden dangers, they stayed sharp. An old woman offered them shelter in a house as night fell. But Yuka, suspicious of humans in dungeons, declined. Instantly, the sky darkened. The woman became a stunning beauty, and the house turned into a massive castle. She was Persephone, the Reaper, a millennium-old being who toyed with human lives. Knowing she was unbeatable, Yuka offered his soul post-death to serve her in exchange for his team's safety. Intrigued, Persephone agreed, marking Yuka with a cursed tattoo. Yuka explained he mimicked a deal from a biography to save his team. Trapped in a dungeon, they needed to recover and plan an escape. For safety, the five slept together, ignoring propriety, but they forgot to set a watch. When Yuka awoke, Simon had bound the team, with Camilla's sleep spell on the girls and a magic device from Bezio controlling Rain. Simon forced Yuka to sign a false confession, claiming Yuka coerced his elf-slurring remarks, threatening Rain's virtue if he refused. With no choice, Yuka prepared to sacrifice himself. Suddenly, the dungeon collapsed. Jamie used a magic cube to shield the Clover team. While Simon, Barry, and Camilla were gravely injured, Jamie freed the magic device, returned it to Yuka, and woke the girls. Yuka activated the escape scroll, but Simon, unaware, took Rain hostage. Jamie stalled Simon, and the scroll whisked only the Clover team away, leaving the others surrounded by beastmen. Yuka blamed himself for not saving Jamie but wondered why she helped. Benwood reported Jamie's distress signal from the dungeon's depths. Yuka begged for another escape scroll to rescue her, but Benwood refused. The depths were too dangerous. Yuka then freed Rain from Bezio's magic collar, using dark magic from Persephone's curse. Bezio, thinking his plan succeeded, tried to enslave the Clover team's women but got beaten and collared with a curse. Any lewd thoughts toward Rain would burn him alive. That night, Lucent, an A-rank teen leader who valued comrades, gifted Yuka his own escape scroll. The Clover team dove back into the dungeon. Fighting at their peak, they found Jamie and Simon, now a full monster thanks to Bezio's dark potion, an undead beast with regenerating limbs. Blaming Yuka, Simon vowed to kill his team. Yuka, realizing his childhood friend was beyond saving, laced his attacks with a curse, turning Simon into an immobile flesh blob devoured by other monsters. Jamie confessed she helped Yuka to atone for her brother's expensive medicine, which Yuka had provided, and because she wasn't as vile as Simon. Nene officially joined the Clover team, boosting their strength just as Yuka received a new mission. Strange phenomena plagued the continent, including a new dungeon, commissioned by a neighboring kingdom. The Clover team was tasked with assessing its threat level. At their inn, they discovered a hot spring. The girls, obsessed with beauty like women everywhere, soaked day and night. Soon, Guildmaster Meniela briefed them. This mission was unique, with multiple teens competing, their rewards based on their haul. The Clover team entered the dungeon with high hopes but hit a snag. a chain-composed monster with high magic and physical resistance. After a grueling fight, Yuka collected its remains and found an unidentifiable ring. The tough start rattled them. They discovered the monster's oddly tidy lair, complete with a diary and unreadable script, which they took for analysis. Stranger still, they found a city identical to human ones but eerily empty. Sensing danger, Yuka urged a retreat when an old man, Loge, appeared, calling Yuka by his full name as if they'd met before. Loge vanished, and the team found a fainted girl. Back at the guild, Maniela reviewed their report. The live feed missed Loge, leading researchers to suspect a group hallucination. The unconscious girl offered no clues. Meanwhile, Rain faced trouble. As a noble's illegitimate daughter, she'd been disowned with her late mother. Now, her family's elder, Crowder, demanded she marry Prince Mastoma as a concubine to revive the family. Yuka burned the letter, vowing to protect Rain, even against a demon king. In love from their adventures, they planned to marry after the mission. The Clover team's second dive into the new dungeon brought a worm-like monster. Nene froze under its gaze, but Yuka blinded it with magic, letting Marina fight. She noticed the worms and chain monsters felt disturbingly human, especially when chopping a pillar felt like slicing flesh. The team theorized the city's residents had transformed into monsters, buildings, and objects. Loge reappeared, cryptic as ever, urging them to uncover the truth. Outside, researchers confirmed the monster remains contain near-human substances, supporting Yuka's theory. Other adventurers and viewers of their live feed fell ill, hinting the dungeon was invading the human world in a sinister way. Nene reported the fainted girl awoke, glowing gold and calling herself the Golden Witch. She warned Yuka time was running out. The world faced elimination. Tied to the empty city, she reverted to Nibiran, with only vague memories. Yuka reported to Maniela, who introduced Betibor, a Marquis and Research Institute head. He revealed dungeons were like parallel worlds. Their collision triggered an elimination event, where only one world survives. Betibor suspected manipulation behind this crisis but tasked Yuka, the chosen hero, with saving their world. This two-season anime shines with its bold take. Yuka isn't your typical naive, overly kind hero. He's cautious, and when betrayed by his childhood friend Simon, he doesn't hesitate to end him. Kindness is great, but blind goodness harms yourself and those you care about. Yuka's pragmatic edge is refreshing. The dungeon concept is inventive, with the terrifying, unbeatable Persephone stealing the show early, forcing Yuka to trade his soul's fate. Unlike many modern anime leaning heavily on comedy, this series recaptures the gripping tension of Attack on Titan or The Promised Neverland. What's next? Who is Loge? Why did the Golden Witch warn Yuka? Will Persephone become an ally? Subscribe to my channel for more answers as the second half unfolds. Yuka's in a tough spot, getting strong-armed by Betibor. If he doesn't take on this mission, it'll fall to the rest of his Clover team, and Yuka knows they can't handle it alone. Reluctantly, he caves to Betibor's pressure. This mission isn't just for Yuka's Clover team. 3 other A-rank adventurer squads are tagging along. Zakhard, the captain of one team, has it out for Yuka, jealous that Yuka's surrounded by a squad full of gorgeous women. Luckily, the other 2 captains have Yuka's back. Malona leads an all-female team, and Lucent, who once hooked Yuka up with a retreat scroll, is also on his side. Yuka and Lucent team up, focusing on protecting Nibiran. This girl was once possessed by the Golden Witch, and bringing her along might be the key to pulling off this mission. Yuka's instincts are spot on. Nibiran's presence makes Loge, the gatekeeper, oddly polite, and the lawn-sealed gate finally swings open. Yuka and Lucent lead their teams inside, stumbling into a library. The books are packed with history, revealing most of the truth behind their mission. Yuka decides it's time to head back and report what they found. The city inside the maze, it's from another world. That world collided with a parallel one, nearly wiping itself out. The king of that world cooked up a special spell to teleport his people to safety, but it backfired, turning everyone into monsters. To save Yuka's world from destruction, they've got to take down this otherworldly maze. But before Yuka can tackle that, trouble brews. Crowder tries to kidnap Rain to marry her off to Prince Mastoma for profit. Rain, who has zero love for her elder Crowder, teams up with Yuka to send that jerk packing. Before diving into the maze, Yuka catches a rare stroke of luck. His team insists on a hot spooling trip, worried he's overworked. They push for mixed baiting, and Yuka, trying to be a gentleman, blindfolds himself. His teammates, though, won't let him off easy. They tease him the whole time. But the fun's cut short by bad news. Zakhard snatched Nibiran and charged into the maze, and no one knows why. The Clover team, along with 2 other adventurer squads, scrambles to rescue Nibiran and destroy the maze. While chasing Zakhard, Marona and Lucent handle the monsters, clearing a path for the Clover team. Yuka runs into Loge, who turns out to be the prince of that other world, seeking redemption for his father's sins. Nibiran is Loge's niece, the key to solving this crisis. Cursed to stay silent, Loge can't say much, leaving Yuka to figure out the rest. The fight kicks off fast. Zakhard uses Nibirin to control the Otherworld King, boosting his entire team with magic. Yuka counters, casting powerful buffs on his own squad. Zakhard's team goes down, but then they mutate into monsters. That's the price of tapping into monster power. Insane magical and physical resistance, plus rapid regeneration. The Clover team's attacks barely dent them. Just when things look grim, Lucent and Melona swoop in to back them up. The tide turns as some of the continent's strongest adventurer teams join forces, slowly regaining the upper hand against the monsters. With his allies holding the line, Yuka focuses on the Otherworld King, the toughest foe he's faced since Persephone. Borrowing Persephone's power, Yuka helps the king find peace at last. One final task remains. For safety, Yuka clears everyone out, leaving only Nibirin and Loge. He activates a magic circle to obliterate the maze. Everything from that other world vanishes, except Nibirin, who's protected by Loge's blessing. 2 weeks have passed by the time Yuka and Nibirin escape. Bad news awaits. Yuka's been gone so long that Crowder spread lies about finding him to trick Rain into leaving. Yuka tracks Rain to Mastoma's estate, but the fight he expected doesn't happen. Mastoma punishes Crowder, who falsely claimed Rain was single and under family control. Turns out, Mastoma knows Rain and Yuka are in love and doesn't want to cross the hero. Mastoma, eyeing the throne, wants Yuka's help to conquer the maze and boost his reputation. Yuka takes the job. Teaming up with a prince is the smart move. While waiting, Yuka's luck strikes again. He's roped into another hot spring trip, this time with Marina. She makes a mysterious request. Guess what it is, viewers? The other girls aren't letting Marina hog Yuka, turning the one-on-one soak into a chaotic mixed bath with 5 women. The Clover team gains a new member, Jamie, another woman, making Yuka the envy of every guy with 6 beauties by his side. On their way to help Mastoma, the girls drop a bombshell. They all confess their feelings to Yuka. They know he's with Rain but don't want to miss their shot with this amazing guy. Yuka's tough enough to face a demon king, but handling all these confessions, he's a blushing mess. Thankfully, a distraction saves him. The Clover team reaches Mastoma's designated spot, only to get ambushed by bandits. Yuka rounds up the bandits and hands them over to Mastoma, who reveals the attack was tied to the throne rivalry. Mastoma's brother doesn't want him conquering the maze and has cooked up schemes to stop Yuka's help. Bigger problems loom. While scouting near the maze, Yuka discovers its magic is spiraling out of control, letting hordes of unbound monsters spill into the human world. Yuka reports this to Mastoma, and they agree to call for reinforcements from Yuka's nation to tackle this maze crisis. A catastrophe hits. Black half-spheres pop up in mazes everywhere, and they're growing. Benwood reveals a secret. 16 years ago, a similar disaster struck. As part of a hero team, he and Yuka's uncle sealed the highest level maze, the source of it all. Now, 16 years later, the seal's weakening, or something else is at play. The only way to stop this new disaster is to figure out what's gone wrong in that ultimate maze. Kicks off. Yuka and his crew dive deep into the labyrinth, getting slammed by monster attacks left and right, but that's not all. They're hit with mental assaults, dragging them into illusions. Yuka's trapped in a vision of his deepest wish. A world where Simon and every teammate are super kind to him. Tears well up, but Yuka grits his teeth and snaps out of the temptation. Yuka's got a new family now, teammates, a wife, and a happy life. His sheer willpower pushes him further in this journey, and top-tier powerhouses start joining the squad. These are people who'd normally be the stars of their own stories, but here, they're stepping up as sidekicks to protect Yuka. As Yuka's team charges forward, darkness suddenly swallows everything, pulling Yuka and Rain into another illusion. Yuka sees his mom and completely breaks down, watching her get consumed by the void. Just when he's about to lose himself, Rain yanks him back to reality. This labyrinth isn't just a test of strength. It's a brutal mind game, pushing every challenger's mental limits. Yuka finally reaches the heart of the maze, where he comes face to face with his uncle, Saga. Back in the day, Saga was the leader of the previous generation's team. He vanished years ago, obsessed with studying the Abyss Gate at the dungeon's end. Now, Saga and Yuka are gearing up to tackle the final challenge together. This battle was absolutely brutal. Years ago, Saga placed a seal at the end of the labyrinth. Now, that seal's weakening, and a massive dragon has emerged, bringing a horde of high-level monsters with it. Yuka's companions took a heavy beating, many were badly injured, and even Saga lost his life in the fight. The only silver lining, they pulled all their strength and managed to slay the dragon. But there's a catch. Someone needs to stay behind to close the labyrinth gate, and that person will likely die in the process. Yuka steps up, insisting he'll be the one to make the sacrifice. He activates a retreat scroll to send his companions to safety. But, in a twist, Nibirin uses her magic to teleport Yuka away instead, taking his place as the one to close the gate. Everyone's heartbroken. They hadn't known Nibirin for long, but her kindness left a deep mark. With that, Nibirin seals the gate, and the crisis is finally over. Afterward, Yuka sets sail, embarking on a new chapter with his group of wives, living that classic harem life. Congrats, you've just watched another classic anime recap on my channel. This one's a pretty traditional Japanese harem anime. Guy gets exiled, ends up with a harem. What sets it apart is that Yuka's not a total dimwit, and the show mixes in some intrigue, suspense, and sacrifice to keep things interesting. It's not a complete train wreck, so it's decent enough to kill time with when you're bored. That's it for this episode. Hit that subscribe button for more anime recaps to keep you entertained during those dull moments.